The Grey Mountains, a sprawling mountain range that separates the kingdoms of Bretonnia from the Empire. This treacherous area is home to a vast number of places of importance, such as the castle and place of the death of the great enchanter Constant Drakenfels, the burial mound of the Chaos Lord Krell, and the Frugalhorn Mountain, on the slopes of which can be found Frugalhofen Village. It was Frugalhofen that felt the terror of the Lichemaster Heinrich Kemmler and his undead hordes in the Warhammer Fantasy 2nd edition campaign scenario. Well, Terror of the Lichemaster. The destruction of the nearby farms and mines led to the Lichemaster rampaging through Frugalhofen with little opposition and garnering great power, enough to raise more dead to his side. Kemmler and Krell travelled the mountains, causing havoc wherever they went, before encountering an abbey, one dedicated to the god of the wilds, Tal, and one that Kemmler thought would make for excellent material for raising the dead and mocking the gods. Little did he know, this monastery had already attracted the ire of another force, one far more insidious and vile than the dead of Kemmler. The monastery of La Maison Tal, besieged by the wicked Skaven, was about to experience the vengeance of the Lichemaster. Vengeance of the Lichemaster was a short campaign supplement printed in the spring 1986 issue 3 of the Citadel Journal, and was the first introduction to the Skaven. This horde of devious ratmen was created by Jez Goodwin, and he has written a whole article about these foul villains in this very same issue of the Citadel Journal, with several miniatures available to purchase, including Flamethrower Crews, Pestilence Monks, the Grey Seer Gnordoom, and a Night Runner named Night Runner. We even get this big chap, Throt the Unclean, Master Moulder, who would wind up getting a new model and more lore later down the line. The article goes over the warrior clans as well, and gives rules and slight lore to Clan Skryre, Clan Moulder, Clan Eshin, Clan Pestilence, and the Grey Seers. The Skaven attacking Maison Tal are led by the Master Moulder Throt the Unclean, accompanied by his Grey Seer advisor Gnordoom. Throt, having mutated into having a third arm, is able to carry a man-catcher, which counts as a two-handed axe with the ability to catch opponents, and gives Throt the ability to deliver a second attack with a knife held in his third hand. Gnordoom, on the other hand, is vital for the Skaven's mission, carrying a Seer Stone, which leads him toward the awesome Black Ark. These two may have more champions and are accompanied by 40 Skaven warriors and 2 Fire Thrower teams. But this isn't just about the Skaven. Kemmler himself got a few fancy new things. Lord Krell is back with his Warp Blade, still not the Black Axe, but this is hardly even a year after Terror, so you can't expect wonders out of the Citadel team. And his 2 lieutenants, Ranlak the Black and Mikael Jackson, are still here. And Kemmler has managed to raise more skeletal champions in the time to lead his hordes of zombies and skeletons. However, Kemmler now has some extra muscle in the form of some faster-moving cavalry, undead riders on skeletal steeds. But the monks of La Maison Tal are not defenseless. Bagrian, the master of La Maison Tal, is to be blamed for the fiasco he finds himself in. He had been looking into the mysterious Ratman and managed to infiltrate Skavenblight and steal an important artifact, the Black Ark. He managed to abscond with the Ark, but the Skaven were alerted to this, and it did not take long for the Skaven to come looking for their treasure. And to add salt to the wound, as the moon rose, so did the dead. But Bagrian was not alone. Alongside him were the warrior monks and wizard monks of Tal, trying to keep the hordes of the darkness at bay. But Bagrian had managed to garner quite the treasury in Maison Tal's crypt. Within the crypt, Kemmler can raise more undead to fight by his side, and inside the Skaven can find the foul Black Ark. But getting to it would not be made easy. The door is magically sealed, and protecting the crypt is this mechanical warrior. That's a Dalek. That's just a Dalek. That's not hyperbole either. Citadel made quite a few Doctor Who miniatures, including some Daleks. I suspect Citadel wanted to get some more use out of their Dalek miniatures than just selling them for FASA's role-playing games, so they added the Mechanical Warrior in their campaign. This machine was built by Bagrian, and if he can activate it, the thing would exterminate any Skaven or undead with its death beam. The journal also featured some patterns that you could cut out and build into the Maisontal Monastery. When this was released, I assumed the intent was for you to build it using the paper as is, since the covers of magazines tend to be made out of sturdier stuff than your average A4 paper. However, I'm going to be making these out of cardboard. I knew these old boxes would come in handy. And yes, I will be making these on camera. Well, at least most of it. I first printed out the pages and cut out the templates. Then I would trace them on the cardboard. I'm going to be using some slightly sturdier cardstock, since this seems to be a concrete and brick-built building rather than being made of wood. Following that, I cut out the pieces, glued them together, plopped them on a base of corrugated cardboard, cut out some more corrugated cardboard as bits of timber, and some cork as miscellaneous rubble. I also used card to make some shingles for the roof bits. I then sprayed the house and let it dry. I'll base it properly at a later date since I don't have any fine enough sand or texture paint. After that, I painted the building. This bit I did not film, at least mostly, because I base coated the walls with Citadel Steel Legion Drab and the roof with Eshin Grey. I blocked in the tiles with Eshin Grey, the windows with Abaddon Black, and the doors, floors, and lumber with Dryad Bark. I then stippled on Kislev flesh on the walls and Grey Seer on the bricks, dry brushing Grey Seer on the roof as well. I also painted thin lines with Steel Legion Drab on the wood parts. I then black-lined the bricks and wood parts to add a little bit of depth using Abaddon Black. Back to what's happening on the camera, I would add in the window bars using Grey Seer and would then start blocking in the Skaven graffiti. I find it endlessly entertaining to imagine some gutter runner running around spray painting some Skaven glyphs and standard letters on the walls of this monastery they're actively trying to destroy.
Yes, yes. We not only murder, kill men-things and destroy, crush their house, but we also vandalize, deface it. Professional rights have standards. Yes, yes.
Anywho, I would block the text in using Abaddon Black before filling it in using Mephiston Red. And there we have it. It's perhaps a little wonky, the ramp came out a bit on the uneven side, but otherwise I'd say this is quite nice for my first piece of terrain. Now, up until this point, all Warhammer scenarios had been made with the idea that you would have two armies fighting against one another. But this was a 3-player battle, so some fudging with the rules would be done for the fight phase specifically. Most of the turn would proceed as normal, but in the fight phase the active player can opt to attack either player's units, while the reactive player must attack the active player's units. For example, if you had a 3-way fight where all sides could attack one another, and it was Kemler's turn, the undead would opt into attacking either the Skaven or the monks of Maisontal, but the Skaven and monks must attack the undead. Man, do I wish to play this scenario. I wouldn't mind having the Skaven and skeletons on incorrect bases, and the lack of zombies can be mended with more skeletons, but I don't have any minis that could pass for the monks of Maisontal. But with that, I think this brings us to the end of today's short adventure. This article was another important one for the setting of Warhammer. While Maisontal would not make much of an appearance after this, the Skaven and Kemler would, the Lichemaster making it all the way to the end times, and both Throt and Kemler now being playable in Total War Warhammer. There's a legend, or more just a tale, that in the earliest days of Warhammer Fantasy, Brian Ansell had asked the design team to come up with something that would be as identifiable to Warhammer as the Beholder was to Dungeons & Dragons. The thing that Ansell was given was the Fimir, based on the Fovera of Irish legend, and while they still exist in the mists of Albion, they've largely been forgotten. But Brian needed only wait a short while, as ultimately, the thing that would become iconic to Warhammer Fantasy and Warhammer Age of Sigmar after that would be the foul children of the horned rat, the Skaven. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, consider giving it a like and telling me in the comments below what your favorite campaign supplement in Warhammer is. To me, it is this one. I mean, come on, it brought in the Skaven. And if you really liked it, why not subscribe? Perchance share this to a friend. Now, please excuse me for a bit. I've got a 100 subscriber special to write. Thank you again for getting me to that, and thank you for watching this video. I'll see you again soon. Bye!